afternoon, so my apologies. Good afternoon. So, welcome to this last day of iDAC and welcome to this session which is on smart buildings and smart cities. Now, when we think about buildings, buildings are something which are lifeless, which people always thought. Though buildings consume food in terms of energy, they also exhale, they also excrete, they also live because people live within them. In terms of the cost, we can compare a building very closely to an aircraft, in terms of the initial cost. Maybe 400, 500 crores. In terms of automation, the aircrafts are much ahead. When we build an aircraft, there are close to 25,000 sensors which go into every aircraft. Each and every data point or the sensors transmit very valuable information seamlessly. So there are almost 1 GB data going per minute into the aircraft's recorder. So by the time you take a flight of 2 hours, how much of data you have collected which is going to the flight recorder, and then that is seamlessly verified, analyzed, and then we see if there is anything going wrong, because it is a matter of life and death. When we talk of buildings, for last about 25 years I am practicing automation. We see that 1000 points BMS. Oh, very nice, very good. So now one thing is collecting data, second thing is using the data. It is similar to my going to the school and getting 80% marks, but never using that practically in my life. So we'll start this with a small question. What is intelligent versus smart? We often use both these terms invariably. We are building an intelligent building, we are making a smart building. So I googled, I said, who's the most intelligent man of India? Any guesses? Professor APJ Abdul Kalam, the most intelligent building. And then when you Google smart, smart has to be another tag. Who's the smartest businessman? Any guesses? Sitting in this. So, no more guesses, required when you're sitting in this beautiful convention center. So when you talk of smartness, when you talk of intelligence, these are slightly different. Intelligence refers to the ability to learn, to collect data. Smartness is how you use the data, whether you have collected all the data or whatever data you have. If you are smart enough, you will manage the show much better. So, when you talk of smartness, versus intelligence buildings are, also automated buildings. When I started my career in '94, I was lucky to start my career in a division which just introduced BAS, Building Automation Systems. And this was a new word. Slowly then, we started also calling it BMS, Building Management System. So Building Automation System or Building Management System were two terms which were used interchangeably. Here, when we started building automation, it was the primary thing we started was capturing the temperature recording. What is the temperature in various areas of the building? So then came energy, how much energy is being consumed. Then we added water, how much water is being consumed. Then the lighting parameters. Now this was still a knowledge gathering session which India had for about 10 years. You were gathering data and keeping data with you. Then came the smart angle to it, that what is the benefit these buildings are giving to the users. Now on my desk here you see two gadgets. One could be an intelligent gadget, the other could be a smart gadget. And you can see the penetration of this is much higher because you do not require anybody educated only to operate this. Anybody who's not even educated will be comfortable using a smart device. So that is how the smartness of buildings was the perceived term which changed the intelligent buildings, and we started calling our buildings smarter because it has to be translated to a benefit, it has to be translated to something which the user can attach himself. So when I have some features in the building which can be operated using a smartphone through an app, or I can get messages on my smartphone, I can get the performance, I can do something more, I can switch on the AC from my mobile phone. That is a smart building. Now, why do we need intelligent or smart building? I would now start calling it intelligent and smart because this is the best combination we can have. Intelligent plus smart. That is where you can be knowledgeable as well as make money also. So basically, the first thing which we have to understand is that intelligent building is not only something which engineer builds, it is also something which an architect contributes to. Intelligent building has to be a good design. If the entry is not at the right place and people have to walk longer distances to get into their cubicle, it's not a smart or intelligent building. If you have a lot of sun getting into the building and bringing a lot of heat, which could have been avoided, it is not a smart building. So smart building or intelligent building is also by architectural design. So we share this responsibility between the engineers as well as the architects. Second most important thing is the cost effectiveness. When I go to my clients, they say, what is the return? What is the return of this money that I put on intelligence or smartness or IoT or BMS or whatever automation you call it? Or is it only mandatory to put it? हमारा maintain तो कोई करता नहीं है. This is the biggest thing which we used to always hear, that whatever money goes into BMS is never utilized to the maximum because people put BMS and then they start bypassing it. Nobody cares. You don't employ a good engineer to keep the system working and up. But yes, the things are changing. The awareness is happening. Everything is being calculated. Day before yesterday, we had a session here in this hall where we were talking of carbon neutrality. So now in the future, we will have buildings which will be required to have the least carbon footprint. So not only net zero energy, we are also talking. Now, what is the difference? The difference is that when you say that I have got energy efficient building, I have put something which is energy efficient. I have got wooden paneling, so it doesn't let the heat come in. But where is that wood coming from? If that wood is coming from Thailand, then please add the fuel which was used by the ship to bring that wood here. So it's not a very green solution. If you're purchasing something made in Germany and transporting it in huge cargo, so please add that carbon footprint. So this is what. And now the second thing India has now committed is that by 2070 we'll be carbon neutral. And what we are saying is not only bringing the products, but also the products when they are manufactured, they should be made in such a way that minimum carbon is generated. So cost effectiveness will now be a different measure. Cost effectiveness will not only be in terms of the performance, it will also be in terms of the environmental friendliness by which it was produced. Then of course the social benefits are there. Now environmental friendly building, when we say, it has to be safe, secure. Mostly, Ashish sir from Wipro is here, Mr. Ashish Khare, I welcome him. He will be speaking, he's a pioneer on smart cities. He'll tell us, when we talk of smart cities, is it only the CCTV surveillance or is it only a security angle which we are trying to see? Then of course I spoke of carbon. Then the indoor air quality. People are really very much fearful, very much concerned about the indoor air quality, the quality of air which we breathe, especially in places like Mumbai, Delhi. Delhi, of course, is a very sorry state of affair when it comes to winter. But then we have, spread ourselves to pockets, and the economic growth is happening in certain areas, so the overpopulation density, of course, everything contributes. So when we are so much concerned about the indoor air quality, we should also be concerned about the outdoor air quality, because that is where the fresh air is coming from. So if on one side an intelligent building says that the indoor quality has to be good, and on the other hand we say that a fresh air is required by the occupants, so it has to be filtered properly. So you are working in a building which is about 8 hours a day, which is in a good indoor air quality because you have filtration systems and you have things which are making the air quality better. But the moment you step out on the road, the moment you reach your home, are we able to, or should we carry oxygen cylinder on our back, to have a perfect indoor air quality or outdoor air quality? But then we have to work on both the fronts. So that is where smarter cities could come in. Then improve reduce the waste streams, optimum use of daylight harvesting, daylight management is another very important aspect of intelligent buildings. So these are some more features which I'm sure that we'll be covering in this session: the HVAC systems, the ventilation, the air quality, I said, lighting systems, lift and escalator controls, alarm monitoring. Anything which happens in the building should be reported, and preemptive actions. So we have Mr. Harvinder Pal Singh here. He's a security expert. He will tell you how electronic security systems and the intelligent buildings are making people more secure here. Then we also have Mr. Puneet Garkhel here today from PwC. Puneet, sir, welcome. He will be talking about, while intelligent buildings connect the outside world to inside world, what threat it poses for the internal data to the external world. So this also goes hand in hand, So he's an expert on that. So when we started talking about smart buildings, as I said, smartness is something which is any new idea. Anything which is, new is smart. So क्लास में जो बच्चा सबसे ज़्यादा पढ़ता था वो सबसे इंटेलिजेंट, और जो सबसे ज़्यादा कम पढ़ के ज़्यादा नंबर लेके आता था वो स्मार्ट. So that is what I understand as intelligent and smart. Small things like motion detector. 10 years ago when we used to enter a toilet or a corridor and the light used to come on, we used to, oh wow, that's a smart building. Now it has become a part of our life. Occupancy sensors no longer excite us. So anything which is new today is going to be something ordinary tomorrow. So this is going to continue, this process will always continue. Then use of good quality materials, using the air conditioning, condensate water. This monitor has gone off. Then something very new which is happening today in some of our projects is that we see the car parking systems. Till now it was very simple that when a person from Delhi like me, he comes to Mumbai and he comes to know that the cost of the office is 1 crore rupees and the parking is 25 lakh rupees. 25 lakh rupees for parking? I mean, why should I buy a car at all? I mean, I'll use a Ola, Uber or auto or local. Why should I, So it used to be very difficult for us to understand. Of course, the things are much different in Delhi. Delhi is more spread out. So we have the luxury of having car parking cheaper or free. Welcome, Mr. Mukesh Jaitley is here. So when we today do projects, the difference is that earlier every occupant used to get 4 or 5 car parkings which were fixed car parkings. So slot number P12 to P18 is for your office. So every day, whether you come or not, nobody is going to park the car there. Today when we talk of smart buildings, we say if I have given 4 car parkings to a tenant and if only two are coming on that day, 2 people are going out of the office, then those 2 car parking should also be used. So now we have mobile apps. So as soon as you enter the building, it will tell you which car slot to take. So it is a floating car parking which you are given. It is not fixed. It will guide you to a similar area every day, not make you run around, but the moment you come there, it will understand that you have come, so it will tick you. But 2 people from your company have not come, so he'll allocate 1 to somebody else, keeping 1 as a reserve. So we are able to use a little more diversity in parking. Now we have smart elevators, very simple. When we go and stand in an elevator, we just keep looking, or we look at the mobile. But why not put some kind of screens there, displays there? It can be used for advertisements, it can be used for weather information, it can be used for stock market information. It can small things. Everything is making your building smarter. Any value addition which you are doing is going to make your building a little more smarter. LED lightings are very common, solar panels are common, cross ventilation is a design need, vertical green walls. These not only add aesthetics, it also adds to the indoor quality. So this is, what we have been talking of, destination control elevators. They try to, put intelligence in clubbing. If 3 people have to go from floor number 18 to 20, put them in an elevator together. Why should they use 3 different elevators of their choice to get in? So when we talk of, the smartness, we have a good, collection of good speakers today here who are going to share their knowledge. My job is to get the right people here. And to have the first session, I would like to call upon none other than Mr. Balaji.